Hey guys, it's Alexis with Shelf Life Extension, and I have a book review for you guys today. Don't mind the animals, like Calypso there, and then I have Knox in front of me, who, if you can't hear, is scratching on my luggage. So don't mind them. The book review I'm going to do today is The Sword of Fire and Sea by Erin Hoffman. It was published in 2012 by Prometheus Books. It has about 270 pages. It runs generally for $17. I got mine at Barnes & Noble, so it's relatively expensive. The story is that Captain Vidarian Ruleret's great-great-grandfather decided to marry a fire priestess, and in doing so caused an alliance between his family and the High Temple of Kara-Azul, which is the domain of the fire priestesses. So, High Priestess Indera calls upon Captain Vidarian to transport a young fire priestess named Ariadel to a water temple to the south. The reason is that Ariadel was able to find the hiding place of these rogue telepathic magic users called the Kortha, and in doing so, they found out who she was, kind of like a two-way telepathic bond. So he has to transport her to this other temple for protection, and they could only go one certain way, which is through pirate territory. So within the story, you find out that Captain Vidarian isn't just, part of a family that has alliance ties to the High Priestess Temple. In fact, he's what's known as the Tesseract, which means that, kind of like the last Airbender, he can control all elements, including the theoretical fifth element, which is chaos. And chaos is like the balance. It's supposed to be the balance. So technically it's good, but a lot of people think it's bad. And there's two conflicting prophecies. One side saying that he is supposed to close the gate, which is keeping the dimensions apart so that chaos can't kind of reach the world. On the other hand, the other prophecy is that he's supposed to open the gate and allow chaos back into the world because it needs to balance things out. So the whole story pretty much follows Captain Vidarian and Ariadel on their journey to reach the gate and figure out kind of what to do. So all in all, I picked it up because it sounded really interesting. It kind of brought me back to my Queen Zone days where it was high fantasy. It's, there's magic, there's good-looking people, there's griffins and priestesses and goddesses and all this cool stuff, and I was just like, oh, that's super awesome, so I bought it. And I was actually really disappointed. I didn't even get to finish this book. Not that I didn't get to, but I didn't want to, because after reading it, I got so fed up with it and I didn't even want to finish it anymore, so I just didn't. I stopped about with like 50 pages left because I didn't want to know what happened, because I was pretty sure nothing was going to happen. So one of my main problems with this is the layout of the story, the way that it's told. It's kind of like a rough draft, and if you write, then you know that sometimes you just need to get everything out. You just, you'll have like this crazy inspiration streak and you'll just write. I know this is like how I am. It's like I'll write and I'll keep going and I'll be like, oh, this is so awesome, this is so intense, and this is so perfect. And then you go back and you're just like, okay, I skipped a lot of things. What was happening in my mind is just not getting onto the page. And obviously it's like I understand what's going on because obviously I thought of it, but to a reader who was reading it, they'd be like, I don't exactly understand what you're doing here. And that's what it felt like in this book. It felt like a rough draft. It felt like somebody's idea of what it was supposed to be, right? But it wasn't fully realized so that the reader could fully follow along properly. It doesn't have a lot of depth of character progression. It doesn't have a lot of depth to its character relationships. And overall, there's just not that much to add intensity to what was going on, which is kind of what you need in a story like this. A big downfall of the story is the language use, because with any fantasy novel, when it's a new world, it's a completely different setting, there's going to be a certain way that the characters speak, in a certain way that you describe certain things. And I feel like there was so much use of metaphor and simile and bright word use that completely distracted me from what was really going on. I just couldn't understand what was going on because I was just like, there's no need for this. Okay, I get it. It's a completely different world. I understand that when I first go into reading the book, you don't need to tell me that, you know what I mean? So it distracted me and it got me confused, so that by the time that it tried to build up to something that was supposed to be like intense, an intense moment between the characters and in the plot, I was just like, I have no idea what's going on, because I don't know where they are, I don't know who they're with, I don't know what is happening, because I just didn't understand. Oh, another thing I wanted to say was the characters themselves. I don't know anything about these characters. Captain Vidarian, I didn't even know how old he was until those like last 50 pages when I got there. And same with Ariadne, I didn't know how old she was. I have no idea any of their histories besides the fact that, oh, Captain Vidarian's great-great-grandfather married a fire priestess, and that's why he's in this whole shithole. There's nothing there. You don't learn anything about him besides, and once he finds out that he's this Tesseract, there's like nothing to really build on that. It's just like, oh, he's the Tesseract now. Oh, he has these powers now. Oh, look, he's doing this. And I'm just like, there's no learning curve. He had absolutely no learning curve. And it just like, there was no progression and no building up. It was just there. And it's so depressing. Oh, and another thing, right on the back in that first chunk where it says this like supposedly really intense thing that you think would drive the story doesn't even come up in the story until, again, those like last 50 pages. And then I was just like, are you serious? This doesn't even hold anything to the story, and that's what got me to buy the book. So I'm just gonna say what it is. It's actually so in the first paragraph, it's because he married a fire priestess, because they were crossing elemental boundaries, it caused a blood disease in their family. And you're just like, oh, whoa, what's that gonna do? Ooh, he's probably gonna die, right? Or something weird, or, you know, something where you like want to find the cure. Doesn't even do anything. You don't even find out about this in the story until, again, that last 50 pages. And then it's not even him. He doesn't even have the disease, so it's like, why would you hook me with that and not even do anything with it? Ugh. So overall, I would probably give this book a 2 out of 5. 1, because the cover, I love the cover. I've said it multiple times. I love this cover. I think it's beautiful. I think, I just love it. And then 2, because it has so much potential. It just makes me so sad, because it could have been so good if it just was reworked and written to actually suit the reader. I feel like it was just written to suit the author. There wasn't any real substance to it. So again, yeah, I just really disappointed in this book. It's really upsetting. I do not recommend it. It has so much potential. I just didn't do very good. It just wasn't very successful. So yeah, I'm gonna say, you know, 2 out of 5, a hard pass. Go pick up something else. Yeah. Alright, thanks guys for watching. I hope you give me a thumbs up, a like, a comment, a subscription, you know, subscribe. That would be pretty cool. Next week I will upload another book review, probably The Sleeping and the Dead by Jeff Crook. Because I did start that one, so I just need to read it. You can hear my mom. And if you watched my my first video, my intro tag, talking about Mercedes Lackey, there was a whole shelf dedicated to her in Barnes & Noble. And I didn't even know this. And like the most recent book came out in like 2013. What? Crazy. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you tune in next week, and I'll see you guys later. Alright.